Hello, boys and girls, and moms and dads. Today, we are going to talk about place value. Whether you're in second grade or eighth grade, you can't really progress in math unless you have a full understanding of place value. Right here, you can see I have a place value chart. It starts ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s, millions. Now, the way we read numbers depends on place value. We take three in a row and call that a period. So ones, tens, and hundreds is the first period. And we would put a comma after that, after those three places. Then we have thousands, 10,000, hundreds, thousands, and another comma. Now, we could keep going on and on and on with this. But we're going to stop right here for today, and we're just going to look at ones through millions. All right, so let's drag numbers into these places. So let's say I have one, if that out of the way, 3, 9 in those places. So this 9 is in the ones place and has a value of 9. This 3 is in the tens place and has a value of 30. This 1 is in the hundreds place and has a value of 100. We read that number 139. That is the ones period. Now we're going to go into the thousands period. So let's say I put this number here, 5, 4, 3. I'll move this comma down so we can see it in the number. All right, you read the numbers in each period exactly the same. So you would read these three, 345. But then where the comma is, we would say the name of the period. So we would say 345,139. Everybody try that again. 345,139. Again, we have a 9 in the ones place worth 9, a 3 in the tens place worth 30, a 1 in the hundreds place worth 100, a 5 in the thousands place worth 5,000, a 4 in the 10,000s place worth 40,000, and a 3 in the 100,000s place worth 300,000. Again, I'm going to move the comma down, and we'll put a number here in the millions place. So let's see if we can read that. 2,345,139. And we could go to 10 millions, then 100 millions, then a comma, then we would be in billions, and we could go on and on and on. But we're going to stop right at millions for today. Now, an important thing when you're reading a number is you never use the word and. The only time we would use and is if we had a decimal and we were moving into places on the other side of the decimal. If we're all in whole numbers, don't ever say and. So let's say this number one more time. 2,345,139. All right, let's practice. How much is the 3 worth? 300,000. That's great. How much is the 5 worth? 5,000. That's great. How much is the 3 worth? 30. That's great. All right, now I'm going to put the same number in each place, and we're going to talk about its value based on where it is. So let me move these down and exchange it all for 3s. So you'll notice that I have a 3 in every place on the place value chart. Now, are all these 3s worth the same? Absolutely not. This 3 is worth 3. This 3 is worth 30. This 3 is worth 300. This 3 is worth 3,000. This 3 is worth 30,000. This 3 is worth 300,000. And this 3 is worth 3 million. Notice every time we move over a place, every time we move over a place to the left, it's 10 times greater than the place before it. So this place, we're worth 3. This place is worth 3 times 10, which is 30. This would be another times 10, which would make it 300. Another times 10, that would make it 3,000. Another times 10 would make it 30,000. Another times 10 would make it 300,000. Another times 10 would make it 3 million. So if you're moving one place, you multiply by 10. If you're moving 2 places, you multiply by 100. If you're moving 3 places, you multiply by 1,000, and so on. That's if you're moving to the left as the numbers get larger. If you're moving to the right, then you're dividing by 10 each time. So this 3 is worth 100. If we look at this 3, we divide 300 by 100, and we would get to 3. So back and forth, you multiply by 10 this way, you divide by 10 this way. It's really important that you guys understand place value and you understand what the numbers are worth so that we can go into rounding and so we can begin to do things with larger numbers. If you're in the second grade, you don't need to go past the hundreds. If you're in the third grade, you need to go up to the hundred thousands. If you're in the fourth grade or up, you need to be able to use the millions and all the way down. I'll post another video soon that includes decimals and the places to the right of the decimal point. But for now, we're looking at whole numbers. So let's explore one more thing. Let's say I have the number 3 and the number 2 and the number 9. And I want to make the largest number I can using those 3 numerals. Would it make more sense to put the 2 in the millions place or the 9 in the millions place? Right. It would make more sense to put the 9 in the millions place because the millions place has the most value. It has the most worth. So I'm going to put the largest number that I have in the biggest place. So if I want to make the largest number I can, I would put all 9s across here. Let's do that. And let's see if we can read this number. Okay, let's read it together. 9,999,999. What would this number become if I added 1? If I just added one single 1, what would happen to that number? Anybody have an idea? Because this 9 would become a 10, then this would become a 0. And I would have to add 1 to this 9, which would make it become a 10. So I would have to put a 0 here and add 1 here, which would make this number a 10. So I would have to put a 0. Then I would have my 1 that I would add here. That would make that a 10. So I would put that a 0. That would cause this to become a 10. So I'd have to put a 0 here, move my 1 over here. It will become that to become a 0. So I would put this 0. The same thing would happen here. Have to put this back, and I'd have to put a 0, and I would have to put a 1. So now what number do I have? 10 million. And I would not have to say all those zeros. I would just say 10 million. You don't have to say the numbers after if they're all zeros. All right, that's beginning place value for today. We'll come back and we'll talk about rounding, depending on what grade you're in, how far we're going to round, and we'll talk about place value to the right of the decimal point. I hope you guys learned a little bit about place value, and I'll see you again tomorrow.